party, say the TNT. Shut it down, Dr. Rowdy. Shut it down. Red, white, and black in unity. The only corona we want is with line from Mexico.
Street919fm.com, the official station that defends the nation.
Living in a gun town, and I have no gun. Only a book full of words of wisdom. Telling me don't kill my brother, respect my sister, love myself as I love my neighbor. Gun town, murder zone, love is the only answer. Don't kill your brother, respect your sister, love yourself as you love your neighbor. Condolences to the families who lost loved ones in these violent tragedies. Father, I beg you please, may they rest in peace and forgive those who possess this killing disease. It's a shame, who to blame? How them acting like some victims, I say. It's a shame, who to blame? Watch them acting like some victims in this gun town. And I have no gun, only a book full of words of wisdom. Telling me don't kill me brother, respect my sister, love myself as I love my neighbor. Gun town, murder zone, love is the only answer. Kill your brother, respect your sister, love yourself as you love your neighbor. If it's not eye for an eye, it's tooth for a tooth, or some damn fool misusing the truth just to fulfill them personal gains, while poor and innocent feel the strain. A shame, who to blame? All them acting like some victims, I say. It's a shame, who to blame? Watch them acting like some victims in this gun town. And I have no gun, only a book full of words of wisdom. Telling me don't kill me brother, respect my sister, love myself as I love my neighbor. Gun town, murder zone, love is the only answer. Kill your brother, respect your sister, love yourself as you love your neighbor. Whether legal or illegal, with or without cereal, made to destruct, once bullet hit material. Don't point it my way, more life I see, no point in my day. More pain than protection, bloodstain shell collection, lethal injection, neither cure nor solution. In the hands of the wrong man, which hand is the right one? Fear, intimidation, aggression, contention, annihilation, detention, all in them crime plan. Whoa, which one is the right one? Who have the most suitable finger for trigger? Which gun could shoot without a shooter?
Oh yes, Trinidad and Tobago, good afternoon. It's just about 10 minutes past the hour of 2 o'clock. Welcome to the VNR show. Precious and of course Robert. Want to thank Google for holding it down inside the mid-morning and mid-afternoon. Well, the first half of the mid-afternoon inside his constructive talk program.
Yes, man.
You know, Aisha, well, she's coming up at 4. But for now, you're stuck with us.
Yes.
Whether you like it or not, you're stuck with us. And as Google would have said in his program, we waiting for the post-cabinet meeting. You know, everybody's waiting with bated breath.
Yes.
To see what
is going on.
Yes, what our government is coming on television to tell us.
Yes.
We hope it's not what we expect, but you never know. Yes. So we just want to, we're going to wait around here with you guys, play some nice music, some music with some words that you can really meditate to. You know, you just heard from Joel Clark, with a track called Gun Tongue.
Tongue. Yeah, son.
Well, it's Gun Tongue and COVID Tongue now, eh?
Yeah.
If it's not the gun, it's COVID.
Yeah.
His name is Joel Clark, and he's from Belmont, Gonzales, to be exact. Nice music from our local young men. And we have one to play for you right now. What's coming up? You have something coming up?
Oh, I'm seeing the countdown as one. You have a countdown. All right, but nonetheless, we are here.
Okay.
All right.
So you want to get into our next song? It's from our very own Robert.
Yes.
Not Roberto, not Roger.
Not Roberto.
But Robert. And the name of this one is called Wake Up.
Yeah.
Listen to the words of this one from the guy who's talking to you right now. Introduce your song now. What are you going on, so?
Trinidad and Tobago, family and friends,
sisters.
brothers and sisters. It's none other than Robert and Betis with Wake Up.
Now, but seriously, take any words of this one.
Tell me which one is the final righteous road? Righteous road. Tell me how come Israel feel part of soul deep in my soul. I've been searching but I won't search no longer. Israel is a part of my nature. It's time to worship a higher. I'm not giving up. It's time to wake up. Wake up. Oh Lord. From life, destruction, beware of some records that push in confusion and contention.
Touch upon this, yeah. By the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this. By the strength of God, not the strength of man.
This one is coming on from Michael Tanger. It's called Strength of God.
When you walk through the city, looking.
And if you're on the Facebook Live, you're getting visuals with it too, you know.
Some people say it's a sign of the times. Things too violent.
Don't just listen to the beat, listen to the words in the song.
Poverty done killing the brothers, and the devil behind it. I down on my knees to the Father, and he's saying God's timing, in God's timing. By the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this. By the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this. Somebody say, Alle, alle, alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Give God his praise. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Alle, alle, alleluia. Let him strengthen your days. Just thinking about life. Bound to hurt your head. Can't be passing time to dead. Oh gosh. Keep doing what's right. Times is getting getting dreader. Have to keep your head up high, because the devil is a hard-working fella. He don't like when God people get up and do something good. I'll get to yours. Listen to the truth. Don't let them tell you what you can't do. Trust in the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this by the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this. Somebody say, alle, alle, alleluia, alle, alle, alleluia, alle, alle, alleluia. Give God His praise, alle, alle, alleluia, alle, alle, alleluia, alle, alle, alleluia. Let Him strengthen you.
So once again, that's the voice of Michael Teja, strength of God. And he said man could lead you astray, no. But as long as you believe in God, pray to the Most High, He will never lead you wrong. We want to play that one from Robert S.N. Batiste, though.
Yeah.
The guy
The
guy that is sit down with me every day from 2 to 4 and carry on the little program. Yeah? So again, it is called Wake Up. How long it take you to write this one out?
This one was written a day, no?
Are they?
Yeah, boy. That's
and we know well you just
inspiration
produce your own thing, right?
Yeah, I produce my own thing. I mix this one, I master this one. Everything was done by me. Even the graphics you're looking at was done by me. All right. Of course, I linked with like a Bible group. They did the graphics, and I put it together. Yeah.
So I mean, I listened to the words of the song already, but I think I should ask you still the inspiration, where the inspiration came from.
The Most High.
Because I know you're a deep fella too.
Yeah. I just go deep. Go deep. And, you know,
so basically
as it says in the song, Wake Up, you know, a lot of us, we walking around seeming to be up, but we still asleep, eh? Yeah, a lot of us walking around and seeming to be up, but we sleeping.
Yeah,
and it's
so
time to
time
high
to wake
tide.
up.
Right now it's high tide, you know.
Yeah.
So it's time to wake up. It's really time to get your act together and, you know, study to show thyself approved too, because that's a serious thing. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. So I want to tell them, you know, the remedy to wake up or the mixture of waking up is studying. Making sure you study to show thyself approved.
And the information there.
Yeah.
Before they could have keep that knowledge from us, but now the information is there.
Yeah, the information, you could go on YouTube, you could go and download PDFs, you could match it up according to the Bible, precept upon precept, line up on line, here a little, there a little, and you put everything together and you wake up.
And everybody big on your sense.
Everybody
I'm sure
big
you can differentiate from the shippiness to
Come on.
what making sense.
Come on.
Think for yourself.
And let me tell you this too. You see, prayers, once you pray, everything will be revealed unto you. You understand? The
And
Most
the
High will
dreams.
send.
Watch now, every day Robert come here, Robert dreaming me, you know. Robert trying to convince me as a prophet, you know.
He's a prophet, so I tell you that already. You better go down that road, eh? Because some people who turn back, right? You remember the story with Jonah? You better go down that road, eh?
So let's get into the song coming on from our very own Robert. It's called Wake Up.
Yeah, man. Give thanks.
Tell me which one is the final righteous road? Righteous road.
Trinidad!
How come Israel feel part of soul deep in my soul? I've been searching, but I won't search no longer. Israel is a part of my nature. It's time to worship a higher. I'm not giving up. It's time to wake up. 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 from life. Destruction. Beware of some records that push in confusion and contention. You remove yourself from the greatest power, then expect your nation to build and prosper. You better get your tribe back and them in order. Start to spread the news now. It's time to wake up. 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 Wake up.
It's called Wake Up
Yeah, man.
from Robert SN.
SN, Batiste. Don't forget the SN.
I like it, you know.
You like it?
Yeah, it
Have a
has
nice
vibes, man.
bounce,
It
huh?
has vibes, it has vibes, it has vibes.
Well, you know, it's a vibes, man, from ever since, you know.
So like we said, we just play music to, you know,
to usher us into the
post-cabinet meeting that is coming up at 2:30.
that is correct.
I know everybody waiting to hear what they come in to tell us.
Yeah.
Feel us about that SOE, you know.
Yeah, something.
The extension, which they don't need the opposition from the information that I read.
We read. I
Because-
remember you calling me
Yeah.
last night and we was reasoning about it.
Yeah.
It's a very serious scene.
I feel I want to take in pretty.
Yeah, let me go to Pretty. This is called Nation of
Nation
Love.
And that's what we need, eh?
This is what we need.
That's what we pushing, you know.
Yeah.
We need to come together as one. Not just to overcome what we're going through now, you know, but just to live. It's better to live in love
Yeah.
and unity than to take so much energy to be back and forth with one another. So we are the pretty lineup? Or which one?
Let me go with the No Greater Time. The No Greater Time. This one is from Keth
Oh, okay.
and a collective body of people,
Okay, well,
of
let's
our
take it.
local artists. Yes, man. No Greater Time.
Where are we right now? How we end up here today? Tell me who is to be blamed, and does it matter anyway? Take a look around, open up your eyes and see. Now's the time to make a difference. Be the change you want to see. Do you remember a time when we used to love, yeah? And with a strength in we heart, we rise above, yeah.
So what would it take to recapture? Now that we face a new chapter.
Come on, my brother, my sister, the heart of the matters, we all need each other.
Let's do this together, yeah.
Together we aspire. Together we achieve. And oftentimes I wonder, yeah, is it something we still believe? Yeah.
We bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love, no greater time for peace. Be what we know we're meant to be. There's no greater time for love, a light for the world to see.
The mighty rise to meet their challenge.
Yeah, we stand and we fight and we shall not fail.
Now is the time for action.
Tell them you're ready now, come with me.
So let we choose to love, yeah. And side by side we will overcome, yeah. Standing firm in defense of the future, a whole generation to nurture.
So come and we show them the power of people together. If we work as one, then the victory is ours, yeah.
Together we aspire, yeah. Together we achieve.
Sometimes I wonder, is it something we still believe? We bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love, no greater time for peace. Be what we know we're meant to be. There's no greater time for love, a light for the world to see. We bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love, no greater time for peace. Be what we know we're meant to be. There's no greater time for love, a light for the world to see. There's no greater time than now. Truly respect each other. There's no greater time than now to bring our nation together. There's no greater time than now to live in love as the order. Cause if not now, then when? And if not us, then who?
Bands look much better when we band together than the bands on mothers' bellies. Together, only the red on the flag becomes redder, and the only band we see is the band across the flag, if any. We're ready, and together we can move the clouds from gray to fine and make sunshine TNT. There's no greater time than now.
Show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Right there, right now. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. One way. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. One way. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. One way. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. One way. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. One way.
A collection of artists on this one. And again, if you're on Facebook Live, you would have seen the visual. Saw Nadia Batson in there, saw Destra in there, Nyla, saw David Rudder, Abby Blackman, Ravi B. I also saw Ella Andel.
Yeah, well, this is brother Devon.
Devon is in there as well. Collective Freetown.
Yes.
Or Freetown Collective.
Yeah, Freetown Collective.
Yeah. A lot of our artists coming together. And they're singing in harmony in the background. Show me how to love. Show me how to love.
Show me how to
I
live.
thought that was a natural instinct to just know how to do. We don't need people to show us how to love. That's supposed to come natural, but unfortunately.
Some things just divide us, huh?
Yeah,
and cause hatred. And when that division is caused, we forget how to love.
I think we are the generation for change.
Yeah, we must.
So then your children, Robert, wouldn't have to live in a country or a world that we had to struggle through, or you know, our parents had to struggle through. We had to change. But if we continue to carry on a narrative and encourage the shippiness, we wouldn't see no change. Well, send love to your girl now. On the Facebook.
Dawn.
Dawn Stir says, nice song, Robert.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Slim Darky saying good afternoon, Precious. And
top of the afternoon to you, Slim Darky. Slim Darky is always here.
Yeah.
Slim Darky is always here.
We just waiting to connect with the government's post-cabinet, the cabinet's post-cabinet meeting.
Yes.
To see what's going on, you know,
so
last evening.
Yeah, we don't want to really...
Now, we can't go into anything.
Yeah, we can't go into
for that.
Yeah, so we just want to spread love. We just want to spread love. And
so this one is coming up from Pretty.
Pretty.
Everybody know Pretty as a big soca artist.
Yeah.
But
this one is
soca artists only sing soca, you know.
No. And Teja actually brought a powerful song too. Teja, who's Strength of God.
He does sing the birthday song for Carnival, going on some rhythm, man. Yeah. So let's take in the Pretty, a nation of love, and let me just talk the talk now. Let me walk the walk. We can't say we are a nation of love.
Sunshine in the building.
Hi,
boy.
Mr. Bego. How's the Bego?
How is the Bego? Sun always shining over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, we can't just always talk, we are a nation of love, but don't walk the talk.
Yeah.
So you're all taking this one and go on Facebook and look at the video.
Go on,
and
share the live. Share the live.
video and think for the songs,
Because why they're sharing the live, they're sharing the love, because it's love is spreading.
Yes, so let's take it in. Pretty, Nation of Love.
I had enough. We moving as a nation of love under the sun. I had enough. We moving as a nation of love under the sun. If I try and tell you, you might not believe me. Every time I on the road, it feels like I'm dreaming. That sensual sound does ring up my air bells. And you could tell, look and you could tell, because no matter the people, we keep it moving along. Keeping feet to the heartbeat of the pulsing song that it jump. When we stand together, that is when we are strong. Tell everyone, we moving as a nation of love. Under the sun, every shifting ways come to find a place embedded in we days. So when we congregate, the sign is clear as dawn. We moving as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. We move as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. Once we unite, any problems we could fight. It don't matter the color of your face, it's the blood that's in the veins. Open your mind, so we could live right, just live right. We moving as a nation of love. Under the sun, every shifting ways come to find a place embedded in we days. So when we congregate, the sign is clear as dawn. We moving as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. We move as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. Once we unite, any problems we could fight. It don't matter the color of your face, it's the blood that's in the veins. Open your mind, so we could live right, just live right. No matter the obstacles, we keep it moving along. Chipping feet to the heartbeat, and the bouncing sound of the drum. Once we stand together, that is when we are strong. So go tell everyone, we moving as a nation of love. Under the sun, every shifting ways come to find a place embedded in we days. So when we congregate, the sign is clear as dawn. We moving as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. We move as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. Yeah.
What is that?
I feel like I bring back this one, boy.
I want to hear Orlando do.
This one I'm a dancing, Nation of Love,
Yeah.
Nation of Love. I tell you,
Love going out
Orlando.
to everyone who's locked on right now to the Street 919 FM. Of course, we waiting on the post-cabinet meeting. They are going to bring it live. They said 2:30, but Trini time.
Yeah.
So as soon as it starts, have no fear.
We are here
We
to
are
bring
here
it
to
live
bring it
to
to
you.
you because we want everybody to know what's going on.
Correct is right.
Real time.
Truly.
Yeah, we don't want you all to hear after the fact.
How you feeling though?
I feeling good.
Is that a good day? Is that a great day? Sun is
It's a
shining.
great day to be alive.
Yeah, it's a good day to be alive. And I want to tell the nation, all other things is happening. But, do a good deed. I think
It's
we
not-
are on. We are on.
So the post-cabinet conference has started. So we're going to connect it to you guys. Remember, we're streaming it live right here on the Street 919 FM. Robert is pulling it up. So we're going to get into that.
Yes.
Nice?
nation of love. Under the sun, every shifting ways come to find a place embedded in we faith. So when we congregate, the sign is clear as dawn. We moving as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. We move as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. Once we unite, any problems we could fight. It don't matter the color of your face, it's the blood that's in the veins. Open your mind, so we could live righteously righteous. Hey, oh, no matter the obstacles, we keep it moving along. Shipping feet to the heartbeat, the bouncing sound that.
Okay, people, so we are going live to the post-cabinet press conference at the Diplomatic Center.
Associations, along with the national boards, agreed that a reasonable alternative to the June 10th date for SEA was July 1st, 6 weeks from today, which, based on the current regulations, should allow the elapse of enough time for the rate of infections and active cases to be reduced to a level deemed reasonably safe for the conduct of the examination. Additionally, in 6 weeks' time, with the second phase of the vaccination program well underway, the level of vaccinations among the population should be much higher. Teachers who are and will be in closest or repeated physical contact with students have been targeted as a priority group, and the Ministry of Health will accommodate this subset of teachers for priority vaccination. Further discussions will be held on this issue, including with tutor. Therefore, based on the health considerations as explained and mindful of the mixed views on the matter of the SEA date, and with the number one priority being the safety of our citizens, the government has taken the decision that the SEA should be postponed to Thursday, July 1st, 2021. While the examinations are important, and all preparations are being made for their safe conduct, they are not more important than the health of the population, and the latter will not be sacrificed for the sake of the former. The Ministry of Education continues to collaborate closely with the Caribbean Examinations Council, the Ministry of Health, and other public sector agencies to ensure the safety and protection of all concerned. It should be noted that the CXC, which administers the SEA examination, was written to on April 23, 2021, in light of the rapid uptick in COVID-19 positive cases, to alert them to a possible date shift. And the schedule was also at that time reworked to accommodate that possibility. The Ministry of Education is therefore on track with all preparations, and the results of the SEA are expected to be released in the second week of September to facilitate the placement of students in secondary schools by the third week of September. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister of Education. Minister of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries, if you wouldn't mind joining us.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Minister de Nobrega. Since the start of COVID, or the intensification in March 2020, the Cabinet appointed a subcommittee to deal with issues relating to business, jobs, and food in particular, agriculture included. And that committee is chaired by Minister Gopi Skoon. It involves Minister Rohan Sindanan and myself, as well as business representatives, including those from the chamber, the supermarkets, and various agriculture interests. And I think that what the farmers in particular in this country have demonstrated in the last year, that they have the capacity, even in the most difficult circumstances, to feed this country. I think initially there were these reports of food being dumped, to the closure of the restaurants and the food places and so on. That was never proven of price gouging and so on. But once agriculture was declared an essential service in the first set of regulations, markets were able to open, the farmers have been able to plant and to do what they have to do. And we've had no issues really. And in relation to the supermarkets and so on, with the support of the Supermarkets Association, the Port Authority, the Minister of Works and Transport, in making sure that goods are cleared, and we've been able to maintain a very steady supply of even the imported produce. As we came into 2021, there were some issues with price increases, and Minister of Trade and Industry and myself, we've made it clear that we've seen the uptick, particularly in the relation to imported grain. National Flour Mills they've put out a press release today pointing to some of those increases in prices and in shipping costs, but they have been able to maintain their prices. So we've had to deal with those issues. But perhaps the most important thing the ministry has done with the farmers has been the program to distribute packages comprising vegetables, fruit, and locally produced chickens to persons across both Trinidad and Tobago. And we launched the program last year. By September last year, we were able to do about 30,000 families. And the quality has always been high, very well received, and distributed via members of parliament and NGOs across the country, faith-based organizations, community organizations. On May 3rd, 2021, when the Prime Minister spoke at one of the press conferences, he announced that we were going to resume that initiative. And in that first, on May 3rd, what was announced were restrictions for that period up to May 23rd. And the figure was 25,000 packages or families to benefit. And right away, May 3rd, NAMDEVCO set about to start the distribution, and the first was done on Friday, May 7th, and to date we've done about 13,000 of those packages. We aim, of course, in the first month to do 25,000, and on May 10th, the Minister of Finance announced an expansion of the program. So where on May 3rd, we estimated that we were going to distribute it to 600 per member of parliament. With the announcement on May 10th, we've been able to double that and spread it over 12 weeks at a rate of 100 per week per member of parliament. And we think that so far it's gone well. It's been well received. We are on target, and I want to thank the farmers of the country for being able to sustain us through this program, and the staff at NAMDEVCO who work around the clock to make sure that we get it out and we maintain the quality of the produce. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Minister. I want to, as MP for Diego Martin Central, I want to take an opportunity to tell you thank you. Even at my constituency office, we were distributing yesterday, so thank you very much. Minister Brown, I believe you are here to speak as well, so if you would join us.
Thank you very much, Minister. Thank you very much, Minister of Communication. The acquisition of COVID-19 vaccines that are approved by the World Health Organization remains a top priority of the government of Trinidad and Tobago for the benefit of all the people of our country. I am pleased to announce an additional development with respect to vaccine acquisition today. We have benefited from a generous donation of AstraZeneca vaccines by the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A flight, an Air Guard flight using a C-26B aircraft departed Trinidad and Tobago this morning, arrived in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, was efficiently loaded with these AstraZeneca vaccines and has just landed at Piaco Airport with vaccines to be immediately received and properly managed by our health authorities. This was the result of significant diplomatic work and communication at the highest levels between our respective heads of government, Prime Minister, the Honorable Keith Rowley, with Prime Minister Ralph Gonsalves. The Ministry of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs has also been significantly involved, and I have been working very closely with my counterpart in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Honorable Kaiser Peters. These vaccines will expire at the end of June, and the Ministry of Health has indicated that they would have sufficient time to ensure that they are fully and properly utilized for the benefit of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. So they are currently within our country. We also had some further good news last night. Again, the Prime Minister has been centrally involved in these discussions, and I am pleased to report that Bermuda has also indicated that they are donating 8,000, it could be a little bit more, but we've confirmed 8,000 AstraZeneca vaccines from Bermuda. The details of the conveyance of those vaccines to Trinidad and Tobago are being finalized as we speak. We anticipate they will be within our jurisdiction very early next week. So this is in addition to the diplomatic work that resulted in the provision of 100,000 Sinopharm or WHO-approved vaccines, which arrived on Wednesday morning, yesterday morning. We have an additional 16,000 AstraZeneca that arrived this afternoon. We have 8,000 further AstraZeneca that will arrive early next week. That has been confirmed. And preceding all of this, you would recall, was 40,000 AstraZeneca donated by the government of India. Again, these are some of the rewards for ongoing diplomatic work. And by now it is in the public record that we are working assiduously at all levels in pursuit of positive details associated with the announcements coming out of the White House and the Biden administration in the United States of America. What I can say at this stage is that the feedback and signals that we have been receiving have been extremely positive for CARICOM as a whole and for Trinidad and Tobago in particular. As further details come to hand, we will be certain to share them as appropriate with the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, we will open the floor to questions.
Mr. Minister Brown, in the context of the St. Vincent, the donation from St. Vincent and Grenadines, in light of the situation there with the volcano and so on, how did the conversation go in terms of them donating vaccines at a time when they are going through their own crisis?
Thank you very much for the question. Well, St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Trinidad and Tobago have an extremely long history of very close relations. That has been maintained and enhanced by the respective governments during the current period. And you would be aware that this country, our government and our people, were generous to a significant degree during the crisis in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we're also quite generous to Barbados as well, because they were also affected. So in terms of the most recent exchanges, there's been a significant volume of resources transferred from Trinidad and Tobago to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and that certainly has engendered some additional warmth and gratitude. In addition, the CARICOM and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines have been mindful of this serious situation with respect to the pandemic here in Trinidad and Tobago. They have been confronted by some challenges. I don't want to go into all of the details. There's some significant vaccine hesitancy, particularly in some of the smaller islands in the region. And there's a sense of responsibility that while they work on confronting vaccine hesitancy, no island wants to end up with vaccines that would have to be discarded. And therefore, some of these elements came together, all anchored by the strong and consistent advocacy at the international level by our Prime Minister, which has resulted in recognition that Trinidad and Tobago certainly is a very important and attractive destination for vaccines at this time. I'm hoping that next week and in the coming weeks, we will be able to share further good news as the result of the ongoing advocacy and attention to the circumstances in Trinidad and Tobago.
You mentioned 16,000. That's from St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
That is correct. 8,000 from Bermuda.
These are not necessarily vaccines that they need at this time.
No, well, they aren't. And the discussion went into to explore those details, and we certainly are not depriving anyone of vaccines. The offer was made by St. Vincent and the Grenadines and graciously accepted by the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
Okay.
What we say? Carnival is on the central leader.
Yes, Patsy.
But all they feeding it for you.
Yeah.
But because of you, we remain singing. This has been a while that we share the stage with all the artist friends, right?
Say na na na. Say na na. What is life without carnival? What is life if we can't make a bacchanal?
Tell me, what is life without soca music? Tell me, that will the real thing like a time. No way. I don't know what I will do without this music. Hey, I think I am Carnival is our essential need. Is our essential need. Is our essential need, and I need it. Carnival is our essential need. Is our essential need. Is our essential need, and I need it. Essential need. Give me a thing for me shot one, and I'm fun in the sun. I don't feel whole day. Nobody can hold me. And I go to come in the car. So man, turn over. Stop the jumping. Whole day. Turn over. How we go jump up? How we go head? How we go wine? How we go? How we go jump up? How we go feel good? How we go feel good? Feel good. And I go jump up. And I go red. How we go drink and miss the air? And I go feel good. And I go feel good.
What is carnival without the road tour?
I don't know.
The road feels so much better with my whole team.
What you saying? Sure, you can be serious.
Miss Carnival, you're mad.
You're mad?
You're mad.
It is bad enough.
Mad, I don't know.
No.
Sing for the Patsy.
What I will do with all this view and all my songs. Hey, happy girl, them stop the jump right now. Jump up, jump up. Why Carnival is our essential need. Is our essential need. Hey, is our essential need. And I need it essential need. Carnival is our essential need. Is our essential need. I don't know. I don't know what I will do with all this music.
And the girl them
whining. Carnival is our essential need. Is our essential need. Is our essential need, and I need it. Carnival is our essential need. Is our essential need. Is our essential need, and I need it.
essentially.
Make some noise for Sean. Marsha, I love you.
Tune in to The Street 919 FM every Friday from 9:15 a.m. to 9:30 a.m. with Kingdom Health Services, situated at number 91 Eastern Main Road in St. Augustine. For the program, Health and Healing, merging the old with the new with Brent Diet. For more information, call 318-7471 or 484-0141 or 360-4100. It's all about Kingdom Health Services on The Street 919 FM, starting May 7th.
Sign up and save with Green Dot. When you subscribe to any of our broadband packages, you get 30% off the installation fee, allowing you to stream your favorite shows on any of your devices. Update your social media accounts and connect with friends and family. Stay on top of the class with online learning sessions, or keep your team in the loop with virtual meetings, all at an affordable price. This is a limited time offer, so don't wait. Call 224-GDOT today to sign up and save with Green Dot, improving and simplifying lives.
At Green Dot, we're making it easier for you with the all-new G-Dot customer portal. Get 24/7 access to your account from all your smart devices. View your account status, see your active services and hardware, view your balance, pay your bills, set up recurring payments, and more. Simply visit gd.tt today and register with your account number and email address to access this service. The all-new G-Dot customer portal. It's just one of the ways Green Dot is making it easier for you. Green Dot, improving and simplifying lives.
When you're locked down and you can't bring nobody in the studio to line with you on the street, you had to find ways to get a nice little line. This Saturday, liming with the live wire is Kaiso, taking you back to the old time days. Some of the greatest Kaiso classics that you've ever heard that you haven't heard in quite some time is going to provide the backdrop this Saturday from 5 to 8 on the Street 919 FM. I am the live wire. Come line with me this Saturday on the Street 919 FM.
Just for you, so real, get that perfect smile. Beauty's in every aisle to take care of your body. We have all you need to stay healthy. Yeah, more to love. Yes, it's true. Pennywise, just for you.
Pennywise gives you more to love. Renting a car in Tobago should be quick, affordable, and easy. Wow. Here at Onia Rentals, we make the process as simple as possible by using our easy e-sign-up. Yep, we can sign you up from just about anywhere using our tablets. See? All done. And everything goes straight into the cloud. Yeah, you're on your way. Are you coming to Tobago? Book your car rental with us and enjoy the most affordable rates in Tobago. But hurry, because cars go pretty fast. Call 361-1042. That's 361-1042. One more time, 361-1042. O'Neill Auto Rentals, Tobago, taking you further.
Why I have this big smile on my face? I got the keys to my home today. I did it with help from TTMF, and it was much easier than I thought. They can help you too.
The belief that the mortgage process is complicated should not stop you from buying a home. At TTMF, we can help you every step of the way. Visit us online or call us today. TTMF, from here to home.
Sky is not the limit, please stay open. Be a voice for change and inspiration, yeah. Be true to yourself with every motion. Be fearless when you speak, the future's waiting, yeah. Just be, just be, just be, just be. Be mobile. Just be. Now there's a new way to pay your electricity bill.
Quick pay your bills today. Quick pay, it's a whole new way. Online
New service from the Trinidad and Tobago Electricity Commission that lets you pay your bill online with your credit or Visa debit chip card. Just enter the account number and contact information. Click pay and you're done.
Share the live. Share the live. The Street 919 FM on Facebook and Instagram. Share the live. Iowa George on Instagram. Share the live. Iowa TV and Street TV on YouTube. Share the live. The Street 919 FM.
What are the most critical teachers that have to go forward and go out? The SE exam administration certainly is something that is very critical and important. And so we will come up on a position, and as I expressed, we will discuss that position with tutor as well and get their perspective, and we will make a recommendation to the Ministry of Health early next week.
Is it the government's desire that teachers who are doing the exam, conducting the exam, have to be vaccinated?
It is not the government's desire, but it really is a desire of the country, because we want to ensure that the safety of our students are paramount. So not only the teachers who are doing the SEA, but they're also, in terms of CSEC and CAPE, the moderators for the different SVAs and so on. So there are quite a few categories of persons that we have to look at, the vice principals and principals who may be out all day. There's also the civil staff in the school that would be assisting with preparations. So we have to look among the different categories of persons and make some decisions around that.
Now, was a question about deferrals, requests for, I'm wondering if it's like SCA and CXC level, you wanted to get like a feedback as to if people are taking up the offer, what sort of response?
With regard to CXC deferral requests, the number we have at this time, based on the information from the local registrar, would be 402 candidates, broken up into 201 from public secondary schools, private candidates 182, and from private registered schools 26 candidates, giving us a total of 402 candidates up to this time seeking deferral to 2022 CXC examinations. And with respect to the SEA, we have of the 19,829 students registered to write the SEA, 178 requests for deferral coming from 88 schools, primary schools.
The question would be the practicality also. Two questions. Let me break this up into two sections. There will be a space because a lot of schools will tell you that they are really packed, that they really try, and people are begging for a place, and these very soft-hearted principals will always try to squeeze in one or more. So there may be a space consideration. That's the first thing. And the second is, where does the decision lie to grant the deferment? Does the decision lie in the ministry, or do you delegate that to each principal to say, well, we could fit in Tom, Jane, and so on?
When this matter of SCA deferrals, and I'll deal with CXA after, when the matter of SCA deferrals was raised, it really came out of the meeting with the stakeholders, and they expressed that though repeaters at standard 5 would be a normal part of the education landscape, there would have been some students who they feel, based on the circumstances, would need to repeat and would not need to go through the whole SCA examination to be able to do so. Because that's the usual thing. You do the exam, and based on the results, you repeat. And so the discussion really centered around principals being able to make that recommendation based on the requests of the parents. So it comes, the parents have to request it, and the principals have to recommend it, and certainly with all of the considerations of space and logistics included, right? So that was the SCA, and it was always recognized that there would not be accommodation of large numbers, but it really was put in place to deal with the most vulnerable students who needed that. With respect to CXC, the students do have a right to defer, because that is advanced to them from CXC. So at that level, the principal does not make a determination about their ability to defer or to write the examination at a later date. But the issue would be their ability to accept the student back into the classes as a repeater. As we know, that's not a new concept in Forms 5, a repeat of Form 5, that's not new. However, it really does, as it always does, come down to can the school accommodate the logistics, the teachers, and so on. And also, it has also to do with the student and, their performance, not just necessarily academic in the school. So that has always been a part of the landscape. So students who are seeking to defer their examinations at this time, they are not necessarily going to have the ability to repeat it at the school. That is a decision of the principal, as it has always been. And the ministry is moving now to deal with the issuing of tuition in an online format so that some of these students would be able to, because, of course, they were the adult classes that were offered through the Ministry of Social Development. There also used to be some lessons offered by the Ministry of Education. Those were all physical. In our present circumstance, those physical classes have had to stop. And so we are seeking now to institute that same level of tuition in an online environment so that students who are deferring and do not have the option of going back to the school environment, or maybe do not want to, can take advantage of that. So we are in the planning stages of that virtual open school, we call it that, at the Ministry of Education, which will allow students who have deferred to also access tuition.
Question to the Foreign Affairs Minister. Given the expiration date that you announced of the vaccines, what assurances from the Health Ministry that these will be used in time so that we don't have a situation of vaccines having been expired?
Yes, that's an important question. By nature of my duties, I communicate and work very closely with the Minister of Health and the Chief Medical Officer. What I can say on the issue of the expiration of vaccines is that our health team in Trinidad and Tobago know exactly what they are doing. They've programmed the expiration dates of the various vaccines into their vaccination rollout schedule, already including the currently considered donations, the ones that are coming in today and the next week. We do not anticipate wastage of a single vial. So those issues are being well considered, and bear in mind that we now have some experience under our belt in this country in managing. I think there's been some good initial exposure, and as more vaccines come in, the health team will be building on the experience and the lessons learned from the initial weeks. So it's an important consideration, but that is being folded into the programming and being well considered at this time. I assure you of it.
Conversations with the United States and the government there, so far, any sense of the expiration date of the vaccines that they plan to donate to other nations, including ours, who could benefit from that?
No, we don't have those details as yet, as we've continually indicated. Some of the technical specifics have yet to be finalized and shared with the global community and the potential beneficiaries. So, but again, the United States has made it very clear, the White House has made it clear, that what they are seeking to do is to really establish themselves as the global leader in changing the paradigm with respect to constrained vaccine access for developing countries. I am certain as part of those calculations, they would ensure that sufficient time after donations are made, sufficient time would be formulated to ensure that the vaccines can be utilized. Again, we are in constant communication with the decision makers, with the technical people, and there's a very positive sense that what will be disseminated will be very useful to the global community and small island states like ourselves.
One more question for the Education Minister. Dr. Dolly, there's a subset of the population who are saying that, my children have been preparing for the exam for June 10th, and they're wondering, why they just can't get it over with or why they can't do the exam. Is there anything you can tell these parents to kind of get them on board and support the extension of the SE date?
We would have waited until now to announce any change because the government did not want to disappoint the students who have been diligently working for June the 10th. So when we discussed it in April, even though the numbers were higher than they were in February, when we did the first phase 1 reopening of schools, and even in the face of not being able to open the primary schools on April 12th as we had hoped, we still stuck with June 10th, really hoping that the measures put in place to dampen the numbers would be effective. But up to last night, I think we saw how many persons are arrested for breaking the curfew. So what has really happened is that even though the government has tried to put progressive measures in place to reduce the numbers, even though we have been speaking about giving our children a chance to do this, it just has not happened. And at this time, looking at the numbers we are facing now, it would be irresponsible of this government to allow our children to come out in the atmosphere where they may not be safe. And so we held for as long as we could, trying to see if these numbers would come down. But we have seen what it is this week, and we still see people doing things that would, work against these numbers coming down. And so it is with great regret that we have to push it back. That was not the intention. We didn't want it to be like that, but this is where we are. This is the cards that we have been dealt, and we have to play them that way. So our number one priority is safety. We understand the disappointment of the students. I have been an SEA parent 3 times, and I understand what that means for a child preparing and then having to be told that the exam is going to be pushed back. We did wait as long as we could, hoping that the numbers would decrease in response to the behavior of the population, but it just hasn't happened that way. So at this point, that is where we are, and it is, I know it is disappointing for quite a number of children, and we are very sorry that it has come to this, but we look forward to us being able to reduce those numbers through our own self-responsibility, reduce those numbers so that at least these children can look forward to July 1st as that set date, and they can get out there, do this examination, and get it over with.
Ms. Minister Dolly, we are thinking of, the 3rd week in September for placement. So is it that the term 1 is going to start at a later date than it usually does?
We look at those discussions, but I can tell you, interestingly, in 2020, the students came out in October, the Form 1s, and I can tell you that on the basis of the feedback from the principals of secondary schools associations, they said that the integration, though virtual, went very well into Form 1. So it is not anticipated that even if the school term begins, as it is currently to begin, before the Forms 1 get into the school system, with that very small delay, it's not anticipated that there'll be any great problems with integration into the school term.
Any more questions?
Question for you, Minister. Well, anyone who can answer, but I'm thinking, given that the Parliament, the House of Representatives, is to debate the 3-month extension of the state of emergency from the date it was proclaimed. I know that, for example, the salary relief grant was really designed from May. Is the government looking at any consideration of such financial assistance going into that 3-month extended period of the SOE?
So, Jewel, I think you will recognize that this is all happening in very challenging times economically for us. I do believe that the Minister of Finance is going to be having a press conference, and I'm sure he will be addressing that directly, and I wouldn't want to preempt his comments on it. You'll let the Minister of Agriculture off easy today. Mr. Abrat, my apologies.
Minister, just in the context of the distribution of the food packages through the constituency officers and so on. What measures are in place to ensure that there's that in other words, people who actually need them get them, and it doesn't become a political football on either side?
Right. Very good question. Now, the reason I gave the dates earlier, it was, we were dealing with an emergency situation and tight time frames. So on May 3rd, the announcement was made, and on May 7th, we did the first delivery. On May 7th, we distributed to 2,000 families through 8 constituencies. On May 10th, the next day, we delivered to further 18 constituencies, another 2,000. 16 of those constituencies got 100 each, 2 got 200 each, Arima and Pointe-a-Pierre. And tomorrow, we're doing a delivery. Tomorrow, we'll get to 14,000. And by May 31st, we'll get to the 25,000. Now, somebody asked me that on social media, why don't we do this? And in fact, the person suggested that we send a social welfare officer to every constituency with the hampers or the packages. And I said to them, if you can't trust members of parliament, and if you can't trust staff paid by the parliament, then who we would trust? So the reliance is on the members of parliament. They submit the names in advance. We ask them to submit it so we can do the packages. They submit the names. At some stage, the time is too rushed to have the Ministry of Social Development and Family Services verify the names, but we will, just for good order, double check when we can. But it is for the members of parliament to provide that assurance that those persons are the ones who are the people who should be getting it. And on the May 3rd announcement, there were specific areas that the people were not going to be able to work. And our first letter to them via NAMDEVCO was to say, focus on those persons. But of course, by May 10th, and thereafter, there was an expansion of that group, and we've had to work with a wider pool. We recognize that, and that is one of the reasons why we've also worked with some NGOs across the country, and we intend to work with more NGOs who represent specific vulnerabilities, and that would bring even more assurance, not that I distrust the members of parliament, that it is reaching where it should reach.
NGOs, in terms of anything that they receive to give assistance, same sort of procedure?
Yeah, they would also supply the names. We need the names for some sort of assurance and for later verification. So we ask all of them. So far we've been able to work through a few NGOs, and we have requests from the National AIDS Coordinating Committee. They have NGOs that work with them, and they've identified 439 families. We have, for example, the Mount Moriah Baptist Church, which operates in Enterprise. They have asked for the Single Mothers Association. They've made a request. They are based in Sawa. They've asked, and we've offered them tomorrow, and now they've said they will take delivery on Monday. So we have those requests. And then we have individual, unfortunately, or fortunately, when you have this responsibility, individuals, every day people ask me, Minister, how to get a hamper? So I also get names via social media, and I submit it to NAMDEVCO and ask them to do the verification. But when you have somebody like last night, a lady called Flora from Longdenville reached out to me via social media, and she said, Minister, our home is 13 persons. And nobody is working. And I said to her, have you gone to social welfare? And she said, no. That is information I have a responsibility to pass on. In fact, I listened a little bit of what MP Saddam Hussein was saying yesterday. And it surprised me, because it surprised me that of all the MPs, he would be one out in the public talking about that, because I received several messages from persons in his constituency. And they were saying, we have been told, there's one lady, Carrie Williams, is one I remember, and in her message to me, she said she's written, and I was surprised that she said she's written, and she's been told that they have no packages. And I know for a fact we've sent 200 to that constituency and member of parliament, but as I said, What was being said yesterday at the press conference was that we were promised 600 and it was reduced to 400. That is not so. It was doubled to 1,200. But you will only get your hampers if you indicate, I have 100 names, I have 100 families to give it to. So MP Saddam Hussein was really a shock to me because so far he's only given 200 names. And even though I said that via social media yesterday, and I said, I expect Saddam Hussein to send 400 names today. Before coming here, I asked NAMDEVCO, and they said to me, no, we've got nothing from no MP as a matter of fact. And just as I came in, they said that they got a request from Michelle Benjamin from Moruga, who has already gotten 400, and she's asked for the remaining 200, and they will give it to her. And this is what Carrie Williams said to me on Monday. Don't mean to bother you, but please let us know when Sawa Barataria is going to get some hampers for distribution to the poor. Every time I write to Saddam Hussein office, they keep saying they have none. So why are other constituencies receiving and we in Sawa are suffering? So that I had to act on that, and I told her that packages have been given. But if we are moving so quickly to give the people who need them the packages via the MP, and you have an MP in Sawa Barataria who has only been able to give 200 names, and goes on a press conference and says, well, the government is denying me, the PNM is, something is wrong with him, he needs to get his head examined. And because, I will tell you this, because we monitor it, and as a minister, I monitor the packages, the packing process, and the records. I know who get and who didn't get and so on. And when I heard from NAMDEVCO that they were preparing for Sawa Barataria but not getting the names and had received a request from 2 NGOs in Sawa Barataria. I named a third one today, the Single Mothers Association. 2 NGOs in Sawa Barataria reached out to NAMDEVCO, and they got packages for distribution. And that gives me some assurance that while Saddam Hussein sits wherever and does nothing, somebody in Sawa Barataria, 2 NGOs and 2 long-standing ones in Sawa Barataria, they got packages, and people like Carrie Williams, who wrote to me, may eventually get via an NGO. So the 2 from the Sawa Barataria, Barataria Improvement Group, and I can't remember the name of the other one. Progress is the name of the other one. They got, and we do that. Now, as you prepare the packages for distribution, you would find that because of the volume of the produce, you may have some extra packages. We're able to generate more than we thought. And it is the NGOs we reach out to say, well, okay, we estimate that in today's distribution we'll have 50 extra, and we can give it to you. The people who have asked, as I say, are the National AIDS Coordinating Committee, Single Women Association, Mount Moriah Spiritual Baptist Church, Police 2nd Division Welfare Committee have asked for 1,000, and National Carnival Bands Association has asked for 100, and we intend to try as far as possible to deal with all those requests that we have. So working with NGOs is the way to answer that gives us a further assurance. And all the members of Parliament who are working with their committees, for example, MP Munilal was one of the first to reach up to 400, and I think he will go beyond 600. And if he goes beyond 600 in his community and we are able to deal with it, we would deal with it. And this continues into June and July. And the Minister of Finance has told the country that if it needs to go beyond that to the end of September, he's prepared to do that.
Contact with MP Hussein in terms of just applying for him directly?
Well, I am. MP Hussein has the luxury of going to press conferences and so on. I do the people's work, so I would he's my friend, and I will reach out to him. I made the point that we are the only 2 youth parliamentarians serving in the current parliament. Problem is that I moved on to the adult parliament, and he's not. So I will reach out to him and tell him to send the 400 names and get his packet, get the business going. And MP Ratiram is at 400. So while Saddam is at 200, MP Ratiram is at 400, and he will get his packages. This morning I spoke to MP Dinesh Rambali in Chaguanas West, and I said to him This is having a very important impact on your constituency. And I would like if you get involved by first coming, what we are doing, these packages, that would for the large wholesale market has been available to us. We completed it. We made it. The Chaguanas Borough Corporation was making a lot of noise saying they want it. We offered them it. They never took it up. And we've decided to use this to prepare all those packages. So some economic activities being created in Chaguanas. Some jobs are being created. And about 2 weeks ago, the cabinet decided, after a long discussion and so on, that this veggie box will remain a permanent feature of what we do for families in this country. So right now we do food cards and a lot of different things. And maybe at the start of the next financial year, this will become a permanent feature. And I told MP Rambali, I said, this is in Chaguanas. When I look at the records now, NAMDEVCO is buying a significant amount of produce from Chaguanas West constituency and Caroni East constituency and the Mayaro constituency. And I said to him, this is going to generate a lot of opportunity for your farmers. I want you to come and see the packing house and come and see the workers what they're doing. And I also want you to talk to your farmers to explain to them the long-term opportunities that are being created. And you know, I must say he was very receptive and he promised to make the visit, and I'm looking forward to doing it with him. And this represents important opportunity and long-term opportunities both for our families in this country, the farmers, and also to really build on what we've been talking about for a long time, which is that if you eat things that you grow and you eat things that are grown in your country, you stand a better life of living, chance of living a longer life.
The NGOs that would have been, that you would have assisted, like the NAMDEVCO, was there a formal process to apply, or was it their own initiative?
Well, this thing happened we did this last year. Last year, the distributions were via MPs and faith-based organizations. So some of those, once they hear veggie boxes, they naturally reach out to NAMDEVCO. And the mere fact that I'm saying this today means that we'll get a lot of people coming forward. And I do have a problem with that. Individuals will come forward, NGOs will come forward. And we will try to, over the 3-month period, we'll try to satisfy as many of them as we could. So the process is that they would reach out. The restriction of the current restrictions mean that they may not bring a letter to the office, they may not be interviewed. So a lot of them are doing things via social media, and we're accepting that.
Someone from district, someone informed me they were a national who was, evacuated from St. Vincent. She and her son had received their first dose of AstraZeneca in St. Vincent, but have had difficulty getting their second dose in Trinidad and seeking some assistance. I'm not sure exactly which minister will be able to.
I am not the Minister of Health, but what I can tell you is that those types of specific, unusual cases that require individual attention, I would welcome if the details can be shared. If they're shared with me, I will certainly pass it on to colleagues in the health sector. If it is shared with the nearest health center, those are the types of matters that can be readily addressed, particularly if someone has started their vaccination course. You wouldn't want it to lapse. So please feel free to share the details, and I'm very confident that your contact's case can be readily resolved.
Minister Demonica, if you allow me just some minutes, I feel constrained to say something on behalf of the MPs who really stand in the gap and work very hard. And I'm speaking about across the divide in being the first responders to this situation with the hampers and so on. And I can tell you that many MPs are in contact with village councils, with NGOs in their areas as well. MPs like myself who have been here last year, we would have a database of persons who would have come in last year. I myself do monthly hampers. That has been a standing feature of my office, as many other MPs as well. So we do have a database of persons that we know from our communities that need assistance, and that information rolls in from your different groups in your area as well. And so that is how you are able to build lists that are quite long, longer than you're able to supply for persons that do need assistance. So it is not simply about giving who you know, but it is also about collecting information and being that repository for building these data banks to assist the public. And, MPs really do work very hard on this, and the staff of their offices, at this time, we are very, very pressed in getting the response from persons. I can tell you, in my own constituency of St. Anne's East, we have over 50 requests coming in. We have a hotline that persons can WhatsApp, send the information. And so we are very, very active at this time, getting all the information from the public and trying, as we get the hampers, to give out as many as possible to those who need, not just those that we know. So on behalf of the MPs, I can tell you that it is a lot of work to be able to rationalize and organize and respond to ensure, because these hampers are perishable. So when they arrive at your office and you have 100 frozen chickens or 200 frozen chickens, you have to put all of those arrangements in place to hand those out very quickly, and we really work hard at doing so.
Okay, everyone. I want to thank you all for attending. Minister Gasby-Dolly, I think that was a perfect way to end it. Before we go, I just want to reiterate to the viewing audience that while we are pressing to get vaccines in, vaccines are our first line of defense. Please continue to follow the health protocols, wash your hands, watch your distance, limit your movement as much as possible, and please wear your mask to cover your nose and your mouth. Thank you very much.
And we've come to the end of today's post-cabinet media briefing featuring the Education Minister, Agriculture, as well as Foreign and CARICOM Affairs. And in short, SCA teachers will be put forward to be accommodated by the Ministry of Health for the vaccines. And SCA is delayed by 3 weeks. And we also have more vaccines entering TNT, as well as our farmers and agro professionals are continuing to hold the line and feed our people.
Broadcasting from Trinidad to the world, the Street919FM.com.
Together to be. There's no greater time for love, a light for the world to see.
The mighty rise to meet their challenge.
Here we stand and we fight and we shall not fail.
Now is the time for action.
Tell them we're ready now, come with me.
So let we choose to love, yeah.
And side by side we will overcome, yeah.
Standing firm in defense of the future, a whole generation to nurture.
So come and we show them the power of people together. If we work as one, then the victory is ours, yeah.
Together we aspire, yeah. Together we achieve, oh yeah.
Oftentimes I wonder,
is it something we still believe?
bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love, no greater time for peace. Be what we know we're meant to be. There's no greater time for love, a light for the world to see. We bless the world with harmony. There's no greater time for love, no greater time for peace. Be what we know we're meant to be. There's no greater time for love, a light for the world to see.
There's no greater time than now. Truly respect each other. There's no greater time than now to bring our nation together. There's no greater time than now to live in love as the order. Cause if not now, then when? And if not us, then who?
Bands look much better when we band together than the bands on mothers' bellies. Together, only the red on the flag becomes redder, and the only band we see is the band across the flag, if any. We're ready, and together we can move the clouds from gray to fine and make sunshine TNT. There's no greater time than now.
Show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there.
Show me how to live.
Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there.
Right there, right
Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. We got to live. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there. Show me how to live, show me how to love, show me how to get there.
We have been love for a century. Overflowing our hearts, never empty. Never let the evilest people tempt me. Got to keep my heart pure if I want to endure. No mistake, clearer than 2020. Go with over end up in a penitentiary. Rather teach the youth and them in elementary. If you don't want to fall, then you got to hold on no matter
So
what.
show me how to live, just show me how to love, just show me how to just be above it all. Yeah, cause I'ma make it one day. So show me, show me.
Hear our cries for change, urgent, as if our esophagus were made with the same cast iron pots our grandmothers hammered to shape with their hands. Hear our cries for peace, sure, like how every one of those pots will be passed down from generation to generation. We are resilient, we are here to last, and at last, we cannot be broken.
The official station that defends the nation.
This is a conspiracy that blows the mind of sane people.
And I suspect that all of us in here are saying it is unthinkable that somebody would plan to kill an entire people. See, you couldn't think like that. But don't you think that others don't think like that?
We're sick and tired of being abused. We're sick and tired of living in fear. We're sick and tired of being manipulated. We ain't gonna do it no more.
Them kill our prophets every time them try educate us. You know, organize a big pandemic. Tell me what's the purpose? Really? Is it to implement a global currency? For a small businesses, global dependency. Rockefeller, Bill Gates, where is your humanity? What's the side effects of your 5G? The population for the masses of society. My culture in every human body. False injection make them kill Papa Berkeley. Ask them why them kill John F. Kennedy, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Dr. Selby. Pharmaceutical companies gotta make money. Get the youth awake, awake, awake. How much more pressure that we really going to take? Awake, awake, awake. Please unite for the children's sake. Get the youth awake, awake, awake. Open up your eyes, see the true enemy. Awake, awake, awake. Please unite for the children's sake. No unemployment at the sky high. Raise the prices so we can buy. See the economy bad, what a damn lie. A damn lie. So tell me who is benefiting from all this? They don't look like me and you. And then them call a Gentile a Jew. Introduce COVID to destroy revenue. And this year on the movies have a preview. Whole heap of distractions, them not have a clue. Ready yourself for them digital system. Touch your phone cause the buggers them listening. I'm telling you about martial law. Democracy was to oppress the poor. Have you chasing occupation while them prepping war? Speaking the truth and them radiate ya. Awake, awake, awake. How much more pressure that we really going to take? Awake, awake, awake. Please unite for the children's sake. Awake, awake, awake. Open up your eyes, see the true enemy. Awake, awake, awake. Please unite for the children's sake. Awake, awake, awake. Awake, awake, awake. The youth's awake, awake, awake. Awake, awake, awake.
Dealing with current issues in society.
If we could only get, as I said repeatedly, the sort of attitude that the population as a whole has to the entire carnival celebrations, if you could have that throughout the year. Trinidad and Tobago would be the richest country in the world.
By the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this. By the strength of God, not the strength of man. We gon' make it out of this. Take a look when you walk through the city, looking lifeless. Some people say it's a sign of the times, things too violent. Poverty done killing my brothers, and the devil behind it. I don't on my knees to the Father, and it's in God's timing, in God's timing. By the strength of God, not the strength of man. We
go make it out of this by the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this. Somebody say, Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia. Give God His praise. Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia. Let Him strengthen your days. Just thinking about life, bound to hurt your head. Can't be passing time to dead. Oh gosh, keep doing what's right. Times is getting dreader. Have to keep your head up high, because the devil is a hard-working fella. He don't like when God people get up and do something good. I'll get a youth. Listen to the truth. Don't let them tell you what you can't do. Trust in the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this by the strength of God, not the strength of man. We go make it out of this. Somebody say, Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia. Give God His praise. Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia, Ale, Ale, Alleluia. Let Him strengthen your days.
We moving as a nation of love under the sun. I had enough. We moving as a nation of love under the sun. If I try and tell you, you might not believe me. Every time I on the road, it feels like I'm dreaming. That sensual sound does bring up my hair bells. And you could tell, look and you could tell, because no matter the obstacle, we keep it moving along. Keeping free to the heartbeat of the pulsing sound that it drum. When we stand together, that is when we are strong. Tell everyone, we moving as a nation of love under the sun. Every shifted pace, bound to find a place embedded in we face. So when we congregate, the sign is clear as dawn. We moving as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. We move as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. Once we unite, any problems we could fight. It don't matter the color of your face, it's the blood that's in the veins. Open your mind, so we could live right, just live right. We moving as a nation of love under the sun. Every shifted ways, bound to find a place embedded in we face. So when we congregate, the sign is clear as dawn. We moving as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. We move as a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love, a nation of love. Once we unite, any problems we could fight. It don't matter the color of your face, it's the blood that's in the veins. Open your mind, so we could live right, just live right. No matter the obstacles, we keep it moving along. Chipping feet to the heartbeat, the pulsing sound that it drum. Once we stand together, that is when we are strong. So go tell everyone, we moving as a nation of love under the sun. Every shift a nation of love under the sun. Enough. We moving as a nation of love under the sun. If I try and tell you, you might not believe me. Every time I on the road, it feels like I'm dreaming. That sensual sound dance, bring up my air bells, and you could tell, look and you could tell, because no matter the obstacle, we keep it moving along. Keeping feet to the heartbeat of the pulsing sound that it jump. When we stand together, that is when we are strong. Tell everyone, we moving as a nation.
The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM. The views expressed are not necessarily the views of the management of the Street 919 FM.